Okay, he's gonna be here any minute now.
TEGG sandwich. Oh my God, such a funny concept. If anybody's ever worked in an office and had to share a lunch space, hilarious. The tuna and the egg, and then when they put it in the microwave, you just like are cringing. If they had thrown some broccoli in there, be even worse, but this is bad enough. And I love when he has to taste it and his reaction. The actor's reaction is really well done, very subtle but good. It's perfect. For stinky office lunches is what I wrote down. So funny. The last scene at the trash is funny. I thought the actors were good. The writing was fun. Pacing was good. Cute music throughout, and just fun for a 9-minute short. I thought it was really good and creative, and this will do well for you guys. So great job and good luck.
TEGG Sandwich. TEGG Sandwich is a interesting short. It's quite funny. What I like more about the short is the idea to keep everything in the same place. One location, one desk, 2 chairs, 3 actors, boom, and the show goes. It's a funny premise and it's a simple one. This sandwich. One of the actors trying to get the other character to try his sandwich, which turns out to be absolutely horrible taste. And the whole conversation around it is quite funny, and it's something that we need sometimes, you know, just watching a show like that. It doesn't have to send like a specific message about society or political or anything else. It just has to be funny, and that's what we have in this film. It's a funny film that gives us, pulls out many laughs from the audience, and when we can just sit down and enjoy. And I particularly praise the independent style, as I say, the filmmaker that managed to pull out a funny and interesting story just staying in one room. So overall, a good short. Congratulations.
All right, I just finished watching TEGG Sandwich, which I thought was pretty funny. I ended up enjoying this piece. I thought it had a really great sense of humor and great sense of comedic timing between the characters in particular. That was very sort of natural, but also having a nice stylistic bent that I thought was matched with the music, having a really like sort of relatable conceit around office dynamics, having to share a lunch space, someone bringing very smelly food. I thought all the constructs were very relatable, which sort of contributed to why the piece was so easy to get into, and I feel like the actors really had a great approach to it. I thought the dynamic between the two male leads towards the middle and the end was had a lot of really great moments that were mixed with sort of physical comedy. There was a moment with him holding his hand, and there's obviously the delivery of the lines, especially when they start to recount the dynamics as to why they were in the room and what was going on. So I thought the piece had a really great sense of humor and a great sense of style, and a good musical choice that really helped tie in the overall piece in a way that gave it a nice sort of stylistic and sort of funny dynamic that worked in ways that you didn't necessarily would expect. That it was really a great play on how the characters were understood by the actors, as well as sort of how the entire conceit and setup was forcing these people to handle a situation awkwardly that we would like to handle a little bit more smoothly. So I thought it was very well done, and I ended up enjoying it because I thought it had a sense of humor that was consistent throughout the piece.
TEGG Sandwich. Well, they got this whole film shot in a meeting room. That couldn't have been easy. I like the shot from the microwave inside, where you can see as Travis pulls out his lunch, the character Don is looking over his shoulder. And the food, I thought, that Travis had wasn't all that unusual. Fish, eggs, bread. These were staples before the microwave meals of noodles and such came in the 80s. So I think maybe the writer was speaking to how the new generations just aren't as tolerant of the old-fashioned types, and that they don't have the same values. So not being exposed to the sandwich generations, they're not going to understand it or like it probably that much either. So I thought that was interesting.
This film captured exactly what it feels like in the office when someone brings in stinky food and the person who does it is always the victim. They made it an entire character doing this. And it's similar to real life, where that's exactly how they feel, is that they're the victim when you tell them what they're eating stinks. Something not to bring to work. And the fact that it ends with him eating out of the trash can is even more gross. Kudos on an actor. I don't know whatever they were really feeding him, if they were actually feeding him this, but kudos on him for being able to swallow it. But yeah, I loved it because it felt so realistic to real life when you're sitting in an office and someone brings in something that makes you gag. And when it's brought up, they're the victim. It's who they like. In this film, capturing that really feels like the real work dynamic, and it's clearly somebody who's worked in an office and or worked somewhere where people bring in stinky food and they've seen the person that says they're the victim. Unless maybe it's somebody who does it themselves and they decided to turn themselves into a character. I don't know, but either way, it was brilliantly constructed.
TEGG Sandwich perfectly captures that kind of awkward comedy that makes it really hard to watch. The disgusting food makes it even harder to watch. It definitely really captures that kind of very relatable issue of finding out people's food disgusting, kind of sickening. It captures that with perfect sort of effectiveness. You can smell the bloody sandwich. It's horrible. But there's also interesting dramatic ideas in there about judgment and about how disliking a thing that people do can be misconstrued as disliking the person themselves, which is kind of interesting and makes you kind of empathise with this. But it also kind of points at this idea of what the limits of understanding and what the limits of empathy are. Even though you have the HR guy trying to be understanding, be nice, there's a point where he can't go anymore. He loses it. So there's interesting questions there. It's got a lot on its mind for kind of awkward little comedy, which I found genuinely impressive.
I really like TEGG Sandwich. I was genuinely laughing at TEGG Sandwich. This is probably one of the funniest short films I've seen in a while. You want to talk about making the audience feel something? I'm talking about that close with that sandwich that almost made me vomit. Excellent. And also the idea of one location, simple idea, but getting the most out of it. It was really funny, yo. I really liked it. More. I want more. Yeah, great job.